Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. As the season winds down, the Major decides to hang up his spikes. The Red Sox hang in by a thread. The Yankees hang on for dear life. The Royals hope to get the hang of it the third time around. The Phillies learn to hang loose. The Dodgers enter postseason play without any hang-ups. And at age 40, Gaylord Perry is still hanging round. So hang on for headlines and highlights. Coming up next on This Week in Baseball. In the American League East, it's been a question of survival for manager Don Zimmer's Boston Red Sox, a question left open for the final days. In Detroit, the Red Sox took 3 out of 4 from the Tigers, winning 1 in the 11th inning, and this, Rusty Staub batting in the bottom of the 9th, 1 out, bases loaded, Boston leading by 2, a situation the Sox have learned to live with all September. Double play to end the game. How about that? Another cardiac climax for the Red Sox, but one that only extended the opportunity for further palpitations in Toronto, where fans poured into Exhibition Stadium to see their last-place Blue Jays play the spoiler game. Toronto did just that, winning the first game of the series with a 2-run rally in the bottom of the 9th. But Louis Tiant brushed off any added pressure the next day and evened the series to keep Boston hanging on. That set up the rubber game, a 4-hour, 56-minute marathon. The Blue Jays would appear to take the game away from the Red Sox. And then appear to give it right back. Leading 6-4 in the 9th, a Toronto wild streak allowed Boston to rally without a hit. Bases loaded, 1 out, Rick Burleson the batter. A potential game-ending double play ball allows 2 runs to score, tying the game. If this was to be the Red Sox year, this was their moment of fortune. In extra innings, Toronto twice loaded the bases without a score, and another rally was buried by Carlton Fisk. Finally, top of the 14th, 2 out, a man at third. Butch Hobson hits a bad hop single off third baseman Roy Howell. Boston takes a 7-6 lead. Dick Drago, brilliant in relief through these nervous weeks, got the final out with a tying run in scoring position. The Sox may have lived on borrowed time, but the more they borrow, the higher the interest, and all the more pressure put on the shoulders of the New York Yankees. 1978 appeared to be the year of the Red Sox, until a remarkable Yankee comeback appeared to eclipse the Sox. But few things are what they appear. When New York began its doubleheader in Toronto, it appeared at least a split was guaranteed since Ron Guidry was pitching 1 game. But the Blue Jays took Guidry in stride, gave him his earliest shower of the season, an easy Blue Jay victory. Then they went on to take a 2-0 lead into the 9th inning of the nightcap, with ace reliever Victor Cruz on the mound. Chills of doom filled the Yankee dugout, but this team has a reputation of thriving on pressure. The Yankees rallied for 2 runs in the 9th inning to tie the game before Greg Nettles topped off the rally with this clutch hit. captured a much easier victory in Toronto the next day before traveling on to Cleveland, where few signs of love and affection could be found. The Indians had played patsy to the Yanks for 2 years, were determined to seek vengeance with all-out freestyle baseball. They survived a rugged 10th-inning victory the first day before really cutting loose behind resurrected left-hander David Clyde the next, slicing New York's margin over Boston to 1 game. On this road trip, the Yankees saw 5 starting left-handers in 6 games, followed by more of the same in the final week. But the Yankees have missed their left-hander, Ron Guidry, who salvaged the final game of the series with his third 2-hit shutout in 4 starts. 1 week remained to see if this would be the first time in baseball history that the New York Yankees would fall from first place in the month of September. Meanwhile, in the American League West, the Kansas City Royals are ready to welcome either the Yankees or Red Sox as they bid again for the first pennant in their 10-year history. The last 2 years, the Royals were within one nervous twitch of popping the champagne. But both times the Yankees did the celebrating after 9th-inning victories in the final game of the championship series. No one's throat felt drier from the loss than Freddie Patek's, but champagne improves with age, and so to find shortstops, Patek and the Royals are rested and prepared to make this the vintage year. And this time, the Royals get ready with some new wine in their old bottles. Amos Otis will enter this series as a new man. In last year's series, he was in a deep slump. The year before, out of action. But he comes in this time as the top Royals slugger. And the juices are flowing from a hot September. First baseman Pete Lecoq had played only sparingly with the Royals last year, but this season he's found a home at first base and has become a vital cog in the KC bat attack with clutch RBIs and a .300 average. If the Royals face the Yanks again, Chapter 3 of the Larry Gura story could be quite different. Gura was a Kansas City disappointment the last 2 years, but this season he won 15 of his first 19. Should be ready to reverse that picture. But the real Royal ace in the hole might be Al Robotsky. He's been their stopper in the bullpen. Not only does he throw the psych at batters, he also throws a left-handed fastball, something Kansas City has not had to stop up those late-inning Yankee rallies. Whoever wins it, don't be surprised if this time around it takes even more than 9 innings of the final game. When Yankee left-hander Ron Guidry shut out Cleveland for his 23rd victory of the season, he tied an American League season record for shutouts by a left-hander with 9. Can you name the pitcher whose record he tied? Stay tuned. In mid-August, the Pittsburgh Pirates seemed grounded until a human launching pad named Dave Parker sent them roaring toward the top of the National League East. Parker continued to fire up the Pirate bench with his explosive bat, but going into the last week of the season, Pittsburgh pennant hopes were frail. However, their late-season surge was spectacular. In fact, the Bucks claim they got into it when they fell out of it.
Well, I think is what happened is we went in Philadelphia and we were like 8 games out, and all of a sudden we come out of Philadelphia and we were like 11 and a half ball games out. And the attitude of the team is when we came out of there is, I think, as far as I'm concerned, is we were finished. And I think everybody just got together and took that one great big breath and just went and let it all out. And all of a sudden everybody came out the next day and everybody relaxed. We started getting the big key hit when we needed it with men on like second and third and 2 outs. We were driving the runs in.
Willie Stargell, the Pirates' senior citizen, made a comeback almost as surprising as that of his team. A veteran of many years of pennant pressure, the Pirate captain knows the importance of staying loose.
Our career is so short, years pass so quickly that if you don't have fun, then you're not going to enjoy. And my one thing that I've always said, that I come in this game without ulcers, and I want to leave the game without ulcers. And if I can help any of the guys to do just that, then it's a pleasure for me to be able to do that.
Despite all characteristic optimism, Chuck Tanner and his men met the ulcer test against Dick Williams' Montreal Expos, who swept an important two-game series. This was the backbreaker. Score tied bottom of the ninth, Larry Parrish heads home. That loss put the Bucks 4 behind Philadelphia, enough to ruin the heartiest of pennant appetites. And yet this was not the last supper. Pittsburgh would have one more chance, hosting the Phillies in the last 4 games of the season in their home park, where they'd already won 21 straight. And for the front-running Philadelphia Phillies, that had to be food for thought. The Phils had flirted all season with the possibility of getting a few ulcers, yet managed to turn themselves on when they had to, staying one step ahead of the opposition. Manager Danny Ozark knows there's no cure for a case of the shakes like a good power belt from Greg Luzinski. Or a good power bolt from Mike Schmidt. Even one from 36-year-old Tim McCarver will do the trick. It was McCarver's first of the season, and it helped cap off an important 3-game sweep over the New York Mets to give the Phils some breathing room. Spark plug Larry Boa led his team to a doubleheader sweep with 7 straight hits, equaling the entire Mets output. Another indispensable Philly, Gary Maddox, drove in Boa with the only run in one game. And Larry Christensen pitched a 3-hitter to seal the 1-0 shutout. The Phillies remained in command, but still couldn't ignore the Pirates if they were to go to the National League Championship Series for the 3rd year in a row, and for the 2nd year in a row, face the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers won the flag last year and appear even more confident this time around, especially after a smooth sweep of September victories. For the Dodgers, Steve Garvey has been Mr. September. One of only 2 players in the National League to play in every game, Garvey just continued to get better, driving in the runs while fueling another hitting streak. In addition to Garvey, Tom Lasorda has other reasons for greater confidence this season, like switch hitter Reggie Smith, enjoying possibly the best season of his career. The man expected to turn on the power at the needed hour. Team captain Davey Lopes is also having an exceptional year. In the field, he coordinates the defense, and at the plate, he initiates Dodger rallies from his leadoff spot. One very significant change is in center field, where speedster Bill North provides defensive skill, along with valuable experience from his World Championship years at Oakland. On the mound, Terry Forster spearheads the Los Angeles bullpen, and in the stretch run allowed only 3 earned runs in 27 outings for a microscopic 0.75 ERA. And rookie Bob Welsh gives the Dodgers more starting depth than they've had in recent memory. His 5-hit shutout against San Diego gave the Dodgers their 2nd straight title and 3rd in the last 5 years. During that time, Los Angeles has failed to win a World Series. To a man, the Dodgers figure this will be the year.
I'd like to be in the World Series. I think the 3rd time will be the charm for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We have not done the thing that we think we're capable of doing, that's becoming world champions, and we got an excellent opportunity right now. All we have to do is do the things that we're capable of doing, and we'll be there and we'll win.
Right, we're going to win it this year. We're going to win the whole thing. We're going to win the World Series.
While Babe Ruth is best known for his bat, his arm was also brilliant. In 1916 with the Red Sox, Ruth pitched 9 shutouts, an American League record for left-handers until Ron Guidry tied it. 7th inning stretch. What's all this talky between umpire and Jabberwocky? Nothing but time-honored baseball tradition. Stand up and talk it like a man, son. Major League style. Splenetic invective, seldom effective. Sooner or later, every man will have his say, especially big league managers who've been known to do some overtime on the vocal cords. Here's the true master of the trade, Tiger skipper Ralph Houk. The major recently announced he will retire at the end of the season to catch up on his fishing. After several successful years in New York with the Yankees, Houk moved on to Detroit, where he helped rebuild the Tigers team. Through it all, he never failed to get his licks in. Or is it kicks in? An old warhorse like the Major will be hard to replace, but there are others quite capable of carrying on the fight with lots of lip. Soldiers are never ejected from baseball. They just go fishing. So long, Major. Even the men in blue will miss you. An ovation for one man who makes his exit from the game and another who refuses to exit, despite the calendar. San Diego pitching ace, Gaylord Perry, the recipient of this week's Gillette Special. Not only did he become the first National League pitcher this season to win 20 games, but he did it at the ripe old age of 40, putting him in select company with the likes of Warren Spahn, Grover Cleveland Alexander, and Cy Young. A distinction like that is worth celebrating.
I'm, 40 years old. I think it's a little incentive for all the people 40 or older. Hang in there, fellas. We can still do it.
That's cause for applause in San Diego and for the young at heart everywhere. But all events on the diamond were thrown into the background by the tragedy that struck the California Angels. Star outfielder Lyman Bostock, fatally and without reason, shot at the age of 27. A player of exceptional talents, a .311 career batting average, and his best years still ahead. As a much sought-after free agent, Bostock chose California. It was his home.
I think the people here appreciate me a lot more because I'm from the area, and I hope I can please the people here.
Lyman made headlines when an early season slump prompted him to give his first month's salary to charity. One of those items of good news, hard for many to believe. But nothing so hard to believe as the bad news for all players, especially teammates past and present.
Manager of a ball club, you lose a player, but as a man, you lose a friend. He wanted to be the best, and we always used to get a kick out of him saying that he wanted to out-hit Rod Carew. So I don't know. He might go up there and be playing with Ty Cobb and some of these guys right now, and maybe he'll become a better hitter upstairs.
So the flag flies at half-mast for a man known to friends for his lively chatter and constant good humor, and to fans for his stylish and enthusiastic play on the field. To friend and fan alike, indeed a very sad week.